Hello students, welcome to English literature class. We had last class learnt about that how Bassanio analyzed the three caskets and finally chose the right casket because he truly loves Portia. To choose a lady, one doesn't need to use any reason or brain. Rather, he should have the true love in the heart, which the other suitors never had it. So Bassanio loved Portia very truly. That's why he could analyze that external glitters are deceptive. So he chose, analyzed the inscriptions on the caskets and rightly chose the lead casket and found Portia's portrait inside it. And now when he chose the right casket, now see the reaction of Portia. How Portia, before going to choose the casket, how she was nervous, how she was so much scared. But now, what is her reaction? Totally contrast reaction. Let's see it. Portia. How all the other passions fleet to air. So all the other passions means just when Bassanio was going to choose the casket, what are the passions? Here she describes. Now, after choosing the right casket, the previous emotions, passions, emotions have now vanished into the air. What were her thoughts when Bassanio went to choose the casket? Here it is, doubtful thoughts. She had very doubtful thoughts whether Bassanio would be able to win her or not. Second, rash embraced despair. She was very much deeply embraced the sorrow, disappointment. And third, shuddering fear. The doubt that whether Bassanio will be able to win her or not, that gave her a trembling fear. She was extremely scared. Fourth, green-eyed jealousy. Green eye, green color symbolizes jealousy. So here green-eyed jealousy, why she was jealous? Because like any other common girl, she had no right to choose a husband of her liking. That's why that jealousy was there, her trembling fear was there, rashly she embraced the disappointment, and then she had doubtful thoughts. These four emotions now vanished into air the moment Bassanio chose the lead casket. Now, she was so happy that now she prays that let this happiness fall on her gently, because she feels that too much of happiness again may bring her sadness. So here what she says, O love, addresses love, O love, be moderate. Allay thy ecstasy. O love, fall on me moderately, gently. Allay thy ecstasy. Allay thy ecstasy, reduce your excessive happiness. In measure, reign thy joy. He says, oh love, she was so happy. That's why she says that let this happiness be restricted, be gentle. Let it fall on her just like the gentle rain. Measure, rain thy joy. Let the happiness fall on her gently like the rain. Next, scant this excess. Restrict this excessive joy. Why she wants that? I feel too much thy blessings. She feels that these blessings of happiness which has fallen on her, she cannot bear it. She fears that. That's why I ask, make it less. Why? For fear I serve it. For fear I serve it means otherwise I should suffer from your excessive blessings. She thinks that too much of happiness may bring tears into her eyes. Too much of happiness may cause something wrong. She fears. That's why she asks that let this happiness fall on her gently like the rain. This was her feelings after Bassanio chooses the right casket. And the first three lines are her emotions when Bassanio goes to choose the casket. Then Bassanio now, what find I here? He opens the lead casket and what did I find? By seeing the portrait of Portia, he was shocked. Opening the leaden casket, he says, fair Portia's counterfeit. Counterfeit portrait. So he says, here there is Portia's portrait inside the lead casket. It was so beautiful that he praises the portrait to a great height. He says, what demigod hath come so near creation? He says, the portrait is so beautiful that as if it is been created by a semi-divine person, semi-divine painter. Then he feels that this portrait is just like the live Portia. Move these eyes? Are these eyes in the portrait moving? Or whether riding on the balls of mine, seem they in motion? So he says that, are these eyes moving, or the reflection of his own eyeballs makes him feel that these eyes of the portrait are moving. His eyeballs are reflecting on the picture, so he said that, are these eyes moving, or this reflection of his eyeballs when falls on it, it makes him feel as if these eyes of the portrait are moving. Next he praises her lips. Here are severed lips. Severed, separated. In the painting, her lips were painted little. There is a gap within the upper lip and lower lip. Parted with sugar breath. So he says that as if her breath is so sweet, the breath which goes through within that lips have parted, separated this upper and lower lip. So sweet a bar should sunder such sweet friends. So this obstruction, this sweet breath is the obstruction bar, but yet the sweet obstruction of the breath now separates the sweet friends. Who are the sweet friends? Upper lip and lower lip of the portrait. Here in her hair, the painter plays the spider. Here is a metaphor. The painter is compared to the spider. So what is the metaphor here? As a spider weaves a cobweb to trap the insects for its food. Similarly, here the painter is compared to the spider who has painted the Portia's hair such beautifully that as if her golden hair hath woven a golden mesh to entrap the hearts of men, faster than nuts in cobwebs. Nuts means insects. So he says that like the spider weaves the cobwebs to trap the insects, similarly painter here is the spider, the golden mesh is the cobwebs, and the insects are here the suitors. So the spider has woven the golden hair in such beautifully that it traps the suitors faster than the spider traps the insects. So this metaphor you have to remember. But her eyes, again he comes to her, describe her beautiful eyes. But her eyes, how could he see to do them? He means the painter. He says that, how could the painter see while painting her eyes? Having made one, methinks it should have power to steal both his and leave itself unfurnished, incomplete. Why he can't see? It is a height of exaggeration of Portia's portrait's beauty. Okay, he says that having painted one eye in the portrait, the one eye had so much power that it might have blinded the painter. That's why he left the painting incomplete. But in reality, it is a one-side portrait, so one eye could be seen. So that's why it is so height of exaggerating the beauty of Portia. Yet look how far the substance of my praise doth wrong this shadow in underprizing it. Underprizing, underestimating it. So far this shadow doth limp behind the substance. Limp, falls short of. First substance you see, first substance means height of praise. Second substance means the portrait of Portia. Remember this. He says that till now you have seen that how well he was praising the beauty, each feature of Portia's portrait, eyes, lips and all. But still here he says that in spite of his high praise of the portrait, he is doing wrong to this shadow. Shadow is portrait. How he is doing wrong? By praising the Portia's portrait, he is underestimating it, underestimating the portrait. How? You can see that how much he can praise the portrait, but the portrait will fall short of the beauty of the real Portia. The last substance means real Portia. So that's what. The more he praises the portrait, the more it is underpricing it, underestimating it. Why? How much he praises, it cannot be equal to real Portia. That's why it is, he is saying he is doing. The more praises he praises the portrait, he is doing wrong to the portrait. Because in the long run, the portrait falls short in beauty to the real Portia. So here is the scroll, the continent and summary of my fortune. You know that each casket contains the scroll and written inscriptions, written matter for the suitors who choose. So he also finds a portrait as well as a written scroll of paper where it is written the summary of his destiny. Okay, so now read this one and we'll continue in the next class the summary of the fortune of Bassanio.